So kind of the different engineering professions that are available now are, as I stated above, aerospace, architecture, agricultural, biomedical, chemical, civil, electrical, environmental, mechanical, and petroleum. The more common ones that you see are civil and mechanical. Those are like the main, you go to school, you hear a lot of people saying mechanical and civil. So pretty much like civil deals with more bridges, dams, the structural aspect of things, pipe flow, water wise. Mechanical deals with more like airflow and heating, cooling systems, combustion engines. That's more mechanical. And all the other professions deal with, as you could probably see, like electrical deals with circuits and electrical items, environmental deals with air pollution, and etc. So going through college, I started off with a bachelor's in civil engineering. I joined this team called the Concrete Canoe, which, yes, a canoe made out of concrete, it floats. It was really good at problem solving and, finding the concrete composition that would give you the lightest canoe, but also the strength that you wanted. Great program. A lot of schools do have them. More for the civil side. I'm talking more for the civil side at this point. Um, it was interesting, but it really wasn't something that I really wanted to do. Concrete is a very complex, a very complex topic that I have a little trouble understanding, which brings me to, I wanted to do bridges. Turns out I was not good at it. I took a structural analysis class. It didn't go over very well. I just didn't understand it. And it's okay, because now I knew, okay, I need to change what I want to do. Now in civil engineering, there's different subdivisions, which you will go through as you go through college, and this is what helped me find out what I really wanted to do. So for an internship, I did a geotechnical firm. It was dealing with soil. Again, another very interesting field, just something that I could deal with, but not something that I was very passionate about. So when I started taking environmental classes in my junior and senior year, I fell in love. I was like, this is it. This is what I really want to do. So I did wastewater treatment, um, some hydraulics with, pipe flow, and later on I ended up, sorry, I apologize for that. Later on, I ended up going for an master's degree in environmental engineering that went into air pollution, wastewater treatment, open channel. So it was really something that I wanted to pursue, and I did it as a master's degree, and I don't regret anything. And that's what we do in college. We go through all these things. You have to reevaluate many of the times, but you end up figuring out what you want. And also, like, not to try to scare anyone, but engineering is hard. I like it's difficult. I'm not going to say it was easy. It definitely was difficult, but if you really like this is for you. I ask everyone to try it. It's great. So in this, now we're on to the FE and the PE licensing. The FE, the Fundamentals of Engineering exam, is an exam that tests your knowledge of pretty much what you learned in college. And it is requiring a 4-year ABET accredited. Like I said before, this is why the ABET accredited comes into handy. It requires it this is the first step to get your license. So then once you pass this, you become an engineering training. So then you need to work under an engineer, professional engineer, so a person that has a title of a PE, under them for 4 years obviously at that point you have a 4-year ABET accredited school, and you need to get approved by the state board to sit for the exam. Very long exam, very tedious, but once you have that, you're golden. Now, for the professional engineering exam, if you have a master's like I do, you only need 3 years of working under a professional engineer, versus if you just have a bachelor's degree, you need 4 years. So my job now, I am an assistant civil engineer at the New York City Department of Environmental Protection. as you probably see the cars around all over the place. The New York City DEP, I love it. It's working for the city. So I work with, what my job entails is I work with the sewers in all 5 boroughs of New York City. Most of it's based on complaint slash requests, meaning a request could come in from a different agency, a request could come in from a different group that's looking for answers, or it's based off of New York City residents that are complaining about, like it says below, flooding in the streets, sewer backups into their basements, into buildings, etc. I love what I do. This is a phenomenal job. I love it. It's so interesting. There's so many different things that are going on. You really have to be on your toes. Everything's different, and that's why I love it. Everything's different every day. Everything's just something new, and that's what's so fascinating about it. So my group is specifically called CSI, Collection Systems Investigation. We have 3 subunits in the CSI unit. We're comprised of about 35 people. One of our main things that everyone knows us for is hiring a contractor to clean and televise a sewer. So that's what we do. And so what that means is that, as you can see in the picture, that is a Vector truck. So that hose is connected to basically a giant vacuum, and it sucks the debris out, and then they send a jetter, which is pretty much just a hose that's like a power washer, and it pushes all the dirt back into this nozzle, and it just gets sucked up. And then on the other end, you have a camera on a robot that it crawls through the sewer, and we comment on the defects and we submit it to other people. Such defects could be cracks, holes, collapsed sewer pipes, etc. What also we do is what my unit mostly does in CSI is conduct elevation surveys. So if there is flooding in the street, there might be like a divot in the road, where a depression, in the road where the water is sitting, and it needs either to be regraded, it needs a catch basin. How I go about doing that, how do you size it where does it gonna go? These are all the things we perform on a day-to-day basis. And then also capacity analysis. Is an area experiencing these sewer backups into people's houses because the sewer is not sized properly? So it's undersized, the flow is too much, and it's not able to handle it, so it backs up into the people's houses. So kind of an idea of what I do. It's very interesting. I love it very much. It's a huge passion of mine. So these are some pictures of what I was explaining before. So the one on the left is what a surveying gun and gun and tripod and the rod look like. That is pretty much just finding out what the elevation is of the street and the sewer as well, to see if it's sloped correctly, see if the street is sloped correctly. And moving on to the right picture, this is pretty much the different types of sewers. You have sanitary, which takes household waste from your toilet, from your shower, from your sink, all goes into the sanitary sewer that does get processed in a treatment plant. Now on the other side, there is a storm sewer. So that entails being connected to catch basins, as you can see in the picture. Those take storm water from when it rains, and it puts it into a pipe, and it sends it off into an outfall, which is connected to a surrounding body of water. So any water that goes on the street goes usually to an outfall. So I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. You guys, if you have any questions for me, you could easily reach out to me. My email address is above, davidcollier@columbiasecondary.org. I'm happy to answer any question that you have to the best of my knowledge, and I'll get back to you in a timely manner as best as I can. So thank you guys for listening, and enjoy the rest of your night.